This subject today is called Discomfort Makes You Stronger. This may be a topic you're familiar with, as once again you have much stuff being proliferated around the internet regarding self-help and motivational speakers with their cliches and their tropes about how to thrive in the world and not just be surviving. I'm obviously talking about this myself, but I'm just putting it out there because I know that a lot of these things get disseminated through the internet, and some of you may have come across this subject. But once again, the talks which come from myself are very much based on experience. They're not taken from books or other podcasts or other people. I'm very much a follower of my own narrative. I have my own journey. I'm independent, and I've always been inspired by myself. Obviously, I do take inspiration from other people, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I like to base these talks on my experience. I do inject other people's knowledge in as an embellishment, but first and foremost, these talks are about authenticity and the real experience from myself, because I feel like when it comes from experience and it comes from a person who's generally experienced something which they can then share, which can then help other people, that's one of the best forms of education you can get, really. So anyway, got that out of the way. Haha. The talk is about discomfort. For me, getting uncomfortable in life is one of the most important things a man can do, because you must challenge yourself. You must face up to your fears. You must face up to your anxieties. You must embrace the trepidation and everything that is attached to that trepidation, and you must go head on into fear and discomfort. I've found myself, it's one of the many ways that I've grown in my life is through putting myself through stress and putting myself into situations where I feel uneasy. There's a sense of anxiety, there is a sense of trepidation because you don't know where you might end up. There has to be a leap of faith. You have to be a chancer. You have to push yourself into an area where failure is possible. I notice with some people that they won't do that. They won't challenge themselves because it's very easy to do the opposite. Stay comfortable. Stay inside the box. Don't challenge yourself at all. Nullify fear, mitigate fear by just staying comfortable. But the problem with that is you don't get any growth. The chance is never taken. You haven't taken the risk because you've wanted to stay in the comfort zone. And that will satiate a lot of people. Comfort. The comfort of the 9-to-5 job. The comfort of not exploring other possibilities. And there is a whole myriad of distractions to keep you in the comfort zone. Let's talk about TV. Let's talk about entertainment in general. Consumption, going out, hedonism. All these types of things will facilitate the comfort of the mind. But I know that the way to circumvent that is to start implementing little bits of discomfort into your life. Try things you wouldn't normally do. Because people generally won't do that. They identify with their own personality type. I'm introverted, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm a reticent sort of character, I'm diffident, I'm shy, I'm bashful. Yeah, I can't do public speaking. That's a good example. That person will generally not push themselves into the realms of public speaking because it's all too much. Because the person has identified with the character traits that have always been surrounding them, not realizing that they can actually take a leap of faith and they can actually change. But I do understand it because I've been there myself. I understand from my own experience, because there are certain things which you feel like are out of your grasp. You put yourself into a box. You think, well, I can't do that. That's for so-and-so. That's for that other person. But we have to understand that it's taking the leap of faith, and it's embracing fear, embracing discomfort, and stepping into the unknown. For me personally, I want to be challenged. I don't want it to be easy. Well, when I've done my projects, when I've done my businesses, it's all been a bit of a lottery, because you don't know what's going to happen. You can put all the energy in. You can be diligent, studious, unrelenting, pushing this thing. But at the end of it, there might be no success. There might be no result. But the thing is, I didn't care, because I was like, I don't care about the result, because it's about the process. It's about the journey. So what I was doing from a very, very, very young age is I was putting myself in the firing line for failure. I was like, it doesn't matter. I will try and be a football player. It doesn't matter if I fail. Well, it does matter, but it's not enough to stop me. Because the desire, the insatiable desire to become that footballer, far outweighs the fear and the trepidation. So I was immediately, from a very young age, thrusting myself into the realms of discomfort, training every day, going out in the cold, in the wet, all on my own, in solitude, training, getting covered in mud, freezing cold. I was doing this from a very young age. I would have been a child. But what it taught me is it taught me to push myself, to pursue something which is difficult. Don't pursue something which is easy, pursue the difficult. Go for something which is outlandish, even ostentatious. Maybe it's grandiose, like it is a football player. Maybe it is an astronaut, maybe it's a president, maybe it's a prime minister, maybe it's whatever. The whole point is, you don't reach that goal, you don't reach that destination by playing it safe. You don't play it safe, you do the absolute opposite. You go into the world of discomfort and uncertainty, and you have to train yourself to get used to it. So this is what I got used to doing personally from a very young age. I got used to feeling like I had to chase this thing, pursue this thing, which was very difficult to do because it was very, very competitive. Sport does that to you. It makes you competitive. It makes you get into the discomfort zone. It challenges you. So what was happening with me from my early years is I was immediately in that mental state. My mind was being inculcated and integrated with traits of competitiveness, masculine traits of pushing myself, being willful, not worrying about failure, and attempting to get to a destination, even though it was difficult. So what happened then, after the football thing went into the background, I then had these tools which I could then transpose into other things that I've been doing in my life. and it's followed me ever since. It's with me. It's part of my psychology. It's part of my philosophy. It's it's integrated into my character to seek discomfort and to find opportunity from the discomfort. So if there is something going on, maybe it's a sport. Let's bring it down to a sport. If, for example, we have a sports match, maybe it's a game of football. If I play that game of football, I do not want the easy game. I want it to be arduous. I want it to test me. I want it to stretch me. I want to go against the team which is the best, because my mind says to me, well, if I go against the best team, I will push myself to new limits. It will just make me get better. I do play football. I still play football now. I play seven-a-side football, sort of casual football on an artificial surface with a bunch of friends and colleagues. It's really good. When I play that game, for me, it's about I want to play against the best players. I want to play against the players who will test me, who will bring something out of myself. And for me, that's the only way to be. And that game of football also applies to my life. You could take that game of football that I play, and then you could transpose it onto how I do my other projects. It's the same thing. It's like you do not want to take the easy route. You want to challenge yourself, and the best way to do that is to daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, is just find things you can do which will pull you out of your normal routine. Maybe it's a project. Maybe it's your exercise routine. Maybe it's diet. Maybe it's how you deal with relationships. Maybe it's stuff you want to find out about yourself. Maybe it's self-exploration, and it's your psyche and it's your psychology. You want to test yourself, but you need to do it. It transcends everything, and it can be transposed into everything. You need to find that discomfort. If you're doing an exercise routine, if you're working out, that is you being in discomfort. You're placing yourself in a position of pain and suffering. But from that pain and suffering, your muscle fibers are tearing, you're breathing heavily, you are gaining from that. Exercise is a perfect example of it. But you have to also do that psychologically. I think you get what I'm saying. It's been a bit of a monologue, as they always are. But I hope you can gain something from this, and you can find parts of your life that you can test yourself. You can stretch yourself. You can start to apply a bit of pressure. And that's what I would say to all you guys, is try it out. When you do your exercise routine, just push yourself a little bit more. If you do sports and you're competing against someone, push yourself that little bit more. Find someone who's better than you, who will test you. If you're working on a project or a business, or you want to work on a project or a business, go into it. Don't wait. Go into it. Don't worry about the failure. Don't worry about it not working. I think it needs to be embraced. So that's it. I hope this helps. I look forward to doing another talk soon. Thank you. Goodbye.